All right, we are back for the second time this week with another episode of Dennis and the Doc. I am the Doc, he is the Dennis, and we are here on, what is it, Tuesday night after a Sunday Jays game.
Yeah, yeah,
And we'll have, yeah, we're gonna we're gonna start by, of course, recapping the loss to St. John's, and then we'll get into the final four of the roster builder challenge for Jay's Twitter. So a lot to talk about today, Mr. Dennis. What's your general feeling coming off the loss at St. John's?
um, I don't know. Fine, not really that. It's somewhat close to the Butler loss for me, in that I don't really feel that bad about it. I don't really think we played well. Um, some people in particular didn't play well, but we wouldn't want to name names. Um,
No.
I do think it's a big deal that Trey played very well. That's promising. I put out on the Twitter, and I don't think anyone got mad at it, but if that's the tray you get going forward, that's a much bigger deal than a road loss against a team that needed it.
Yeah, and it's hardly the easiest game for him to break out either. Like it's not a terrible matchup for him by any means, but that's a physical defensive team. That's a building that kind of is notorious for being tough to shooters who don't play there all the time, but yeah, he stepped up and had one of his best games of the season and one where you really wouldn't have expected him to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, fuck, that's name it. I mean, Shireman was terrible,
Yeah.
which I'm not super concerned about. He's probably been the most consistent player this year. So I'm willing to let him have an off night, I guess. Obviously, I would rather he didn't, but I'm not super concerned about him going forward. Um,
No, yeah, I think only thing it really matters for him is that should put an end to player of the year discussion unless he goes for a 40-point triple double against Marquette.
Yeah, yeah, probably, which whatever. I don't care too much about those awards. I'm perfectly fine if Carter wins it. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you just gotta hope. I mean, I don't think you're gonna get that Trey going forward every game. If you are, okay, great. But you just can't have 28% from three Trey like you had for a majority of the year.
Right. Right. Yeah, it again, it's another thing we say like ceiling raiser if you've got him firing on all cylinders like he was
Mhm.
last season. Yeah, Baylor's play, like you said, it's the concern from that game. I don't think it will concern anybody going forward. It's one of those things, even if he does string together a couple of bad games, I don't think he's the same player as last year where you'd maybe worry about that.
Yeah, I would agree. I expect him to rebound. If he doesn't rebound, then that's an issue going forward, obviously. But I'm definitely not going to sound the alarms after one bad game when he's been your best and most consistent player all year. It's fine. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's a college basketball player. Happens to everyone. Not gonna get that concerned about it.
Yeah, and you could say like it was by far, I think, his worst performance of the season because he's had bad shooting games here and there, but I don't think he's ever felt so taken out of a game as he was in this one. Like the turnovers were weird. His rebounding wasn't the same. His passing was kind of all over the place. Just didn't look like he ever got comfortable.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Aside from that, like there were problems. There weren't like huge identifiable problems. Kalkbrenner looked a little tired, but still put up, I think it was 11, 10, and 8.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't his best game, and I don't know why he seems to have so many kind of just I don't know. It's fine, I guess. It
Yeah, I
is.
mean some of it you have to deal with when you're playing a guy that long, but
Yeah,
it's almost disappointing because he makes it look like he can do it so easily, and then when he has a game where he finally looks like a guy who plays 36 minutes a game as a 7-footer,
Hmm.
it's almost like breaking the veil, you know?
Yeah, too much partying for the big man, perhaps.
Yeah, and you know, like it's important to talk about that too. Like this is the letdown spot to end all letdown spots. Like if you didn't see this coming, I don't know what to tell you. You're not watching enough college basketball.
Yeah, yeah, it was an obvious letdown spot. Like I said, I was kind of hopeful that it would be so obvious that they'd actually manage to get up for it, but
Right.
that didn't happen. Whatever. Again, whatever. It's college basketball, fine. Like, wish they won. I wish I was smarter. I wish a lot of things. Whatever.
It's one of those things where I kind of wonder what coaches say when they have a game like this on their schedule because I feel like a guy like, for example, like Hurley would absolutely talk all week like, "Oh, this is a trap game. Oh, this is a bad spot, and we're gonna have to." And I feel like a guy like Mac would just completely avoid talking about it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we say, but between this effort and UNLV effort, like, might need to start saying something different.
Yeah, and I like it's the identity of your team, right? Like your team takes on the identity of your coach is a saying. I like fan base takes on the identity of your coach. So I think we are very even keel going into these kind of atmospheres where,
Yeah,
yeah, does that always work out for us? Like, probably not.
yeah, that's probably fair.
And we've been saying it for weeks now, but it keeps rearing its head. You know, these bad starts are a problem worth addressing at some point here in the future.
Yeah. Well, just remember that was negative if you pointed it out during games that you won.
Yeah. And then if you yourself point the same thing out 2 weeks later, then it's totally fine.
Well, then you're just yeah, or you're just saying stuff after the fact.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like again, like we said in our last one, I'm not gonna dwell on Twitter people, but getting mad at us for criticizing, like again, lightly criticizing the team after wins, and then if you had a meltdown after this most recent game, I feel like you don't have a leg to stand on with us, but hey, what do I know?
Yeah, it's yeah, a strange twist of fate. I feel like we were two of the more positive people after this game.
I was gonna say, I think that's the first time where I've really felt like the fan base at large was melting down more than I was.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, again, I'm not gonna tell people I don't. Like, I absolutely lead that crusade most of the time.
Oh yeah, I'll fully embrace that I'm negative somewhat as a shtick a lot, but like also usually right. Also, I need you as a friend. Well, let's make a trade. I'll let me proofread your bracket to make sure you don't have Arizona going far. Like, don't let don't let the Nova game tip without me having money on Nova
Okay. You
because
know
I,
what?
I'm
That
gonna
that's very fair.
I'm gonna talk myself into like I'm just gonna basically do what I did on Sunday, and I
Yeah.
can't like I need to. It's such an obvious like fucking letdown. It's gonna mean so much more to them. Like I can't not have money on them.
No, it's a terrible spot. And it's against the team that I probably I again, like I think I hate our matchups in that game more than any other just because of the Dixon Kalkbrenner thing that is absolutely undeniable at this point.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, glad we got that figured out.
Yeah, so I will try my best to remind you.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't let me do Arizona again. I'm going to. Like I can see
the
it
last time we
coming.
talked, you said like, this year might be different. No, we're
It
willing
will
to get burned. We're willing to get burned once the other way. We're not getting burned again betting on that.
Yeah, they'll draw like Kansas as the two in their region, who's playing Colgate in the first round or something like that. We'll be the 3 or 4 in that region, like somebody else. Yeah, absolutely. I can see that. If it's like Auburn as the 3, us as the 4, absolutely. I could see myself doing it again.
Nope, can't do it.
Oh, Yeah, you stop me, like physically stop me, or
It's
else
funny,
it's gonna
like it's
happen.
like you can't do that. Like as you're describing that region, I'm like, okay, like if they get that region, like yeah, I could pick them like going to the final four. But like no,
Yeah, but you can't. You can't. Just give me like Kentucky as the 5 or 6 in that region, and then we're good.
yeah,
They'll be higher than a 5 at this point, but
Lobos, 10 seed
yeah,
Lobos,
the Lobo. Yeah, that's your Elite Eight matchup. Knock them off in the Elite Eight. Because that's
Lobos.
the shitty. Like Arizona's still gonna wind up being the one, even though they absolutely don't deserve it.
Tennessee might clip them.
Tennessee's got a lot better
Yeah,
chance to lose games coming up.
yeah, they do.
Like I assume Arizona will win the Pac-12 tournament. Like they very well couldn't, but probably 50-50.
Yeah,
And if they do, they'll be the one. Just the record alone will look too much.
I'll let Cal in that tournament. Don't let my
Yeah,
gold
yeah,
go.
why not, right?
1,000 to 1.
They get in as a 12, you never know. Shades of Georgetown, shades of Oregon State.
All right.
The fact that that happened in the same year is always crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, good. I think what Georgetown won 4 games in 4 days, and is it counting the DePaul win? They have 4 Big East wins since.
Yes, I think that is correct. It might be 5 after the DePaul game, but yeah.
It's definitely not 5 because I saw a tweet that was 3.
Oh, really? Okay. Because it's what, 2 this year, 1 last year, only 1 the year before that?
No, they got none the year before. They got 2 last year, I think. I think they split with DePaul last year and beat Butler because it fucked up my stupid Butler over 6.5 conference wins.
Yeah, well, because I remember that Georgetown or that DePaul was the 10 at last year's Big East tournament, so I assume they would have had to have less than 2.
They had to DePaul beat Xavier, didn't they? Or no, DePaul maybe beat
Yeah.
DePaul beat someone last year, I think.
Well, they must have.
Or
Yeah, I
maybe
don't
no, I
remember
think
who it
Butler
was.
beat Xavier. Actually, that's very different, but
Well, DePaul beat Seton Hall in the first round of the tournament
well,
last
did beat
year.
Xavier. Yeah,
Eh,
and beat Villanova. I forgot about that. They beat
wow.
Georgetown, Villanova, Xavier last year in the regular season and Seton Hall.
Wow.
Forgot about that.
And I thought this year's team would be better than last year's team.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, we had some good takes in the preseason ones we did. We had a couple of bad ones though, for sure too.
Yeah, we'll circle back to that at some point.
Yeah, we'll have one of these in the coming days to maybe do a re a recap of all of our takes, national and Big East.
Yeah,
Um, if we've got anything else from this game though, I mean, again, like nightmare matchup with the way they choose to attack drop coverage.
yeah. They also hit they hit shots, which part of it is probably just what they do, but hit some tough
Yeah,
shots. Hit some
I mean,
big.
I'd take a Patino team as being likely to shoot that well from 2 as any team in the country.
Yeah,
And it's got to be a little bit of a confidence thing too. Like, you're going to get those shots, you can make them. If you get rolling early, probably hit a lot of them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, who was it was Dingle, right? That was good, or was it? No, it was
Dennis, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean, again, whatever. I'm not super concerned about it. It kind of just is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I think Kalkbrenner played 40 minutes.
I don't remember seeing any Fred King.
I don't remember seeing him or Trout.
Trout played the final like 10 seconds.
Oh, did he? Okay, I had turned it off by then.
Yeah. Jason Green, couple hard minutes. But
Yeah, maybe not enough.
yeah, Miller, I kind of even forgot he was there.
Yeah, Greg seems to a lot of the time too. So not that that's necessarily the wrong move, but
Farabello had one of the worst layup attempts I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was something, wasn't it?
Uh, we have another
It's
one?
almost amazing how someone can be as important to a top basketball team as he is, and I have no faith he will ever do anything inside of the arc.
No. No, just a
He had
brick
the
right off the bottom of the rim.
well, he had that and then like the circus shot fast break layup too.
Uh,
Go figure which one he made. But yeah, not a whole lot of rotation going on in this game. I'm not sure we had any better options than what we did. Again, you could maybe see some Green minutes when Ledlam was out there. So I actually think that's a pretty decent matchup for him.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the shooting is terrible outside of Trey. As a team, you went 2 of 18.
Yeah.
Shire and Ashworth combined 2 of 16. So Kalkbrenner taking 2 threes. Probably didn't need that. Um,
Yeah, two really badly timed ones too.
yeah, yeah. We don't really need those.
No, and it's one of those things like it's becoming, I used to call it the Toby Hegner problem, where you kind of just hope he doesn't make his first one because then you're going to see more of them get taken. But he seems like he's going to shoot him either way. So I don't know.
Yeah, don't really need it. He's sub 30% on the year.
Yeah, he was what 29% before that game. So
Yeah, he's 29% now. So
is he okay? Yeah, I mean, takeaways from the game are going to be more or less flush it, which I kind of get sick of saying for a team because you're supposed to like learn and grow from each loss, right? But the way we play, that's just not really how we do things.
mhm.
And so if we want to look ahead a little bit, we've got Seton Hall tomorrow night. We've got Marquette on Saturday. We're going to be pretty heavy, pretty heavy favorites tomorrow. I didn't see if the
Still
line is out.
8.5, I think.
What was that?
8.5 from is where it opened. I haven't looked if it's moved at all. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, I mean that sounds right.
Yeah, I mean I've been terrible lately, so I'm not picking a side. I don't know. Maybe we'll cover, maybe we won't. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you forced me, I'd give, I don't know. I guess I'd be on the Hall side of that.
Maybe forced me, I'd take us, but I don't know. No one is forcing me, so I won't take it.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be on the lower scoring side, or we could just absolutely run them out of the building.
Yeah, we put up 97 on them the first time, so we'll see if our offense explodes like that again.
Yeah, well, if they give us 15 extra minutes, we might get into the 110s this time. So
Yeah, I don't.
I don't.
I mean, it'd be. I hope that the refs give them a fair shot this game. But
Yeah, yeah,
I
man. If
don't
they can
think
just
it's rigged in their favor.
call a fair game, and you never know what's gonna happen. They're still dealing with some injuries, I think. I know Richmond is back now, but they've been kind of doing like a load management thing with him. I think Dre Davis has also missed some time lately, which would be notable.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, against Butler. Davis played 34 against Butler. It looks like they played most of their guys normal. Like Dawes with 38, Richmond 37, Davis 34, Adewusu 33, Bediako 32.
Okay.
So I'm
So
guessing,
they should be at full speed.
yeah, Davis played 34 the game before, Richmond 37 the game before. So
Okay. And I think they have two Davises too, so honestly, I might have just been reading something
yeah,
incorrect. Um, because admittedly, it's been a while. I don't think I've watched a Seton Hall game since the last time we played them, so not too well versed on what they've been up to lately.
No, yeah, neither have I, but I don't know. It's a game you should win. Don't. It probably means more to them than it does to you, but at the same time, that's no excuse really. You're the much better team. Um, yeah, it's a game you should and have to win.
Yeah, and they're probably playing. I mean, it kind of looks like they're playing their best ball of the season lately. Just their game scores. They had a 99 against Xavier and 91 St. John's and 95 against Butler as their last three games. So if there's a bad time to be hitting them, I guess it's now. But I think that was also true the first time we played them. So
Yeah, they do also take a decent amount of mid-range jumper, like over half their points. Nearly 60% of their points come from mid-range.
yep.
Could argue is a good or
Yeah.
bad. Um,
Well, percentages would argue it's bad. They're shooting 38% from a team from that range. Richmond, who takes by far the most of them, shoots it at 39%. So, again, this is one of those as long as they do what they're supposed to do, should be able to contain them pretty easily.
yeah, they're a good offensive rebounding team, which um, we excel keeping teams off the glass. Hope to neutralize that. Um, yeah, I guess those are the big things that kind of stick out to me. They don't really put teams at the line. We don't get to the line. It's kind of a real interesting matchup, I guess, which I guess depending on the way you look at it, all of them are when you play to a team that's like such extremes that we do, where like they
Yeah.
their big weakness is live ball turnovers. We don't force that. Um, they shoot very well when they get to the line. We don't let teams get to the line. Uh, yeah,
Yep, it's and their weakness is 3-point shooting, and we're not going to let them do that anyways. So their only rotation shooter, Dawes, is taking 170 of them. He's shooting 36%, but as a team, they're 31 and a half. So, it's one of those things like if they do take a couple from deep and hit them, you might be in for a night, but we stop a lot of the things they do poorly and allow a lot of the things that they do well. So it could be interesting.
yeah. I think it'll be interesting. Um, it wouldn't shock me if it's close, but at the end of the game, you're a better team. You're at home. You have to find a way to, especially off of a bad effort Sunday. Um, this should be a good effort.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I'm gonna flip on. I'll give us the 8.5.
Okay, it's funny
I
because
don't think it'll be yeah, I don't think it'll be easy, but give me a late pull away.
okay, sure. Yeah, it's a pretty pure stay away for me, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm certainly not rushing out to Ameristar to get this one in, but
Be a hike for you given your current whereabouts, anyways.
well,
Guess they have those. Have them back. Do they have those back on? I assume they do.
the what?
They have Ameristars by you right now, right?
By where?
Like your current location.
Oh, honestly, I don't know.
I would imagine
I
they
know
do.
nothing. I know nothing about the casino situation where I'm actually from.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Oh, never mind then. Quick tangent.
Oh yeah. No, no, no worries there, because I think that'll probably bring an end to this segment, unless you got anything else.
Not really. Um, yeah, not really.
All
I
right.
think
Well then,
you gotta win in general. I think being a three seed's a big deal.
yeah, for sure. Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, shit, if you're gonna play UConn in the Big East tournament, I'd rather get them on Friday than Saturday.
Oh, I meant three seed general.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if I'm because I still haven't ruled out the path to the 2 seed just because so many teams could lose that if you don't, anything's possible. I mean, I think we'll end up on the 4 line, but if you, in theory, if you win out the regular season and don't lose in the first round of the Big East tournament, that's probably a 3.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Now it's on Zoom. We can do this.
Yeah, yeah. So we're using the advantages of our virtual pod now because it's time to talk about the final four of the Jay's Twitter roster builder challenge, bracket challenge. I made the name way too long, so I can't remember it. But we are through 30 or 28 of the 32 teams, and we're down to a final four that includes both of us, despite, 200 people voting on these, somehow we make it through despite neither of us knowing ball or knowing anything about the game whatsoever.
Mhm.
And we meet up with 3 seed. I'm gonna Skull, who admittedly I don't know anything about. And then the 2 seed out of the Quest region, Chuck Witt. And we've got some interesting matchups here. Mr. Dennis is one of the Doug Mc. Well, we've got a Doug matchup and we've got a non-Doug matchup. So two of the 8 teams that had Doug that took the $8 plunge on him made it through, and neither of the teams in the other semi do.
Yeah, we really went all out and got stats for this shit.
I did, yeah, because why not?
Yeah. I definitely, looking back, like I obviously didn't know that Green was gonna have the big UConn game, but I wish I could kick off Xander Yates instead.
Yeah,
Um,
so if we want to do story time, so Mr. Dennis texted me, or I don't remember if it was in person. We talked about it like the day before I published the bracket, and he's looking at it, he's like, "Well, I've got Yates and Green on my team, and they're both worth 0, so I could just send one of them to the transfer portal." And he picked Yates, and little did we know back then that Jason Green would turn out to just be a perfectly legitimate starting 4 option in this kind of scenario.
yeah, that's yeah, bad beat. I mean, at that point, Jason Green played like 3 minutes all year.
Yeah,
So how was I supposed to know what would come of that? Um,
I don't think anyone would have guessed.
yeah, maybe I'll boomerang him for next year's team.
Because yeah, I included him, and I didn't like because it was one of those things. I guess I just got lucky because I didn't have to either, and I don't think I even thought about it that I'm like, oh, I just have a 0 on my team, but left him in there, and hopefully I get to reap some rewards for it. I think I'm the only one who's got him.
Yeah, it turns out he can give some tick. I mean, yeah, at the time, Yates like Green was a 0 for me, and Yates had that St. John's game last year in the final minute where he went off. He had some good moments. I was like, sure, I'll take the guy who's played college basketball, I guess.
Right. No, I and like that's like nobody would have argued with you at the time. So
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
yeah, so me and you are the only ones who got Kalkbrenner. So Mr. Dennis's strategy was basically let's just put 3 incredible players on the same team and see what happens. Then you throw DJ into that mix, and you've got a pretty tough starting 4 to beat. So for those, because yeah, I guess I shouldn't talk like everyone can see this. He's got Tyshawn playing the point,
Wait, they'll be
Doug.
able to see it though, won't they?
Uh, yeah, well, we'll see when I edit this because they're, might not want them to.
Oh, quick timeout. I have the Texas Tech game in the background. This dude's getting carried out by 4 security guards. Like one guy has each shoulder, like one guy on a shoulder, one guy on each leg, and they're fucking carrying him up the stairs.
A player or a
No, like a fan. I don't know what the hell he did.
nice.
Okay,
Is
sorry.
it
Go
in
ahead.
Austin or in
No, it's
Lubbock?
not.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. The fuck this guy do? All right.
But
Sorry.
yeah,
Go on.
No, all good. Mr. Dennis's strategy was pretty clear, and it's kind of ridiculous that this team was a lot. I mean, honestly, I look at almost every team except mine in this round, and I'm like, all right, it's kind of ridiculous that you were able to put this team together. Like, I should have done better on the constraints. Because I'm full disclosure, I think my team is easily the weakest one remaining at this point. But hey, we'll see what the voters think. Mr. Dennis managed to get Tyshawn, Doug, DJ, Kalk, and then he had to put Xander Yates in there at the four. But having those four, I mean, you got exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I mean, those four are playing 40 minutes a game. Like, we're rotating some not very good players at one spot. But like at the same time, like Doug is Doug. Like he's the best player in this whole tournament by far. He's arguably the greatest offensive college basketball player, and you could argue college basketball player and not be super irrational.
Yeah.
Of the 21st century. You have Kalkbrenner, who's a two-time defensive player of the year, borderline All-American, probably best center in school history. You have Tyshawn Alexander, who should have won defensive player of the year, put up close to 20 a game in his final year. Jefferson will give us some grit and rebounding, and the fourth spot, I don't know, sit in the corner, maybe make a corner three. Evan
Yeah,
Young's
it's not the
bribe the refs or something since they had to get him on the
I
team.
was I was gonna say it's not so much the Xander and the Cashaw and even the Wyndham minutes you got to worry about. It's how to get 5 minutes out of Zyle and Young without giving up 16 points on the other end.
We'll hold the ball a couple possessions. We'll
Yeah.
milk the clock.
Well, I mean, milk clock and just let Doug chuck something up isn't exactly a bad game
Yeah,
plan.
maybe we will play them at the same time. How many timeouts is this? Is this still four timeouts? Because I was gonna say, what if it's just run the shot clock to 30 seconds, chuck a Doug three, timeout, defense. Next time an offense, put him back in, chuck a three.
Yeah, you can get creative with it.
Oh,
But yeah,
so,
your bench is the same bench that almost everyone has. So the four players, well, so Connor Cashaw and Jalen Wyndham were both negative ones, and they appear on every roster in the final four. And then Zyle and Young were the other two minus ones. Mr. Dennis, Mr.
have
Skoll,
they
and
ever
Mr.
even
Witt all
played?
took.
Like, I do they just forgive my bluntness, but like, do they just see like a 6'6" athletic looking African American and throw him on the team? Like Jalen Wyndham wasn't good either.
No, he wasn't.
Like for as much as he's like all like Zyle, like what the fuck did Jalen
Well,
Wyndham?
Wyndham was at least recruited. Like he was a scholarship player. The other two weren't.
See, can you name what school he's at? I didn't know this.
Ball State.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did know that. Like he was supposed to be like a sharpshooting, like typical Creighton recruit where you're like, hey, you never know.
Yeah,
And no, just came on camp like honestly going the way of like Jonathan Lawson now, where he came on campus, his shooting stroke just looked terrible, airballed a bunch of shit, and then was never heard from again.
yeah, huh. I didn't know this. How about that?
Yeah, so you have the one weakness you look at when you talk about this team. So you've got, I kind of like threw together numbers for everybody, and it's like, so just the total number of minutes that each player played in their best season. So your team totals up to 156. You need 200 minutes in a game, right? So
Mhm.
everyone else was 178 was the next lowest. I was at 189. Right. So you've got the most unexplained minutes in the tournament. But what that does allow is like, so Damian Jefferson playing 30 minutes a game on 12 points. Well, theoretically, all right, you play 40 minutes a game, now you're on 15 points or something like that.
Yeah, and we're not gonna. We'll slow pace down every now and then. Like, yeah, it'll be. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll get him in the lab.
Yeah, you got some interesting coaching. You see, you're gonna have to rely a lot on the coaching of this team, I think, to make your argument.
Well, good thing I'm a widely respected coach at Creighton Twitter circles. So that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, well, and you had I mean, nobody here really struggled on their way in, but your first round was a 90-10 victory, then a two-thirds then back to back, basically two-thirds victories. So we'll talk a little bit about your opponent coming out of the Civic region here before this meeting ends. So Mr. Skull's team defeated Mark French in the first round, blew him out, won all of his matchups by roughly or at least a two-thirds margin. So he's going with Nemhard, Ballack, Doug, DJ, and Bishop as his starting lineup. So not really a weak spot there at all.
No, no, not a no weak spot.
You
There's
find a way to get two 44% three-point shooters in there with a attacking point guard, a big rebounder, and then a not incompetent center, forward playing center.
no, but here's a counter. You want to worry about minutes issues with my team. What is the highest percent of minutes in a season Christian Bishop ever played?
That's it, 23 right there.
Where is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, so you want to
Yeah.
talk about where is my team going to get these minutes? Like you're either Christian Bishop is dogging it, which Kalk is going to rim run his ass to death, or suddenly you're playing Nick Zile 15 minutes a game.
Well, imagine if he gets in foul trouble too.
Ain't that some shit?
I mean,
Yeah,
like DJ could play some five, like he could play some undersized five, but not against Kalkbrenner. And then, okay, you're playing Connor Cashaw 20 minutes instead.
yeah, it's an issue. Like we want to talk about minutes restrictions for my team, which I can understand. Again, we're gonna have to. There's no auto benching on this team. Like if somebody picks up two fouls at the 15-minute mark, you're gonna play Ole defense. You're staying on the court.
Yeah, because I
Um,
mean, it's the same argument I'm going to make for my team because I'm also a Kalkbrenner team playing against a Bishop. Like, Bishop is either going to have his hands full and foul, or even in the best case scenario, he plays 30 minutes and you're spending 10 minutes with Nick Zile on Kalkbrenner.
yeah,
Game
that's
over.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's I don't know. Again, that's kind of where I just feel like my team, and again, I fully acknowledge we have one very bad spot, but like, and we're just like bigger than everyone too. Like, you got to have, what are you gonna do? I guess you're gonna have Ballack on Yates and Yates on Ballack, which like obviously isn't ideal, but like, I don't know. It's not like Ballack's gonna like drive by him or anything. Like, you can kind of take away a shooter. Like, look what Ashworth did on Spencer. Like, you can kind of take away a shooter who's not a huge threat to drive and like go by you.
Yates isn't going to run around with Mitch, though. Like, if you remember, like, Mitch used to run like a maniac to get open for his shot.
We will want to inject him with EPO in the first practice.
Yeah, see, we weren't taking that into consideration. All right, we're gonna stop and start the next one right now. All right, so we're back. Just before we get in, did you see Stetson baseball? Florida played at Stetson today
I did.
and lost. Yeah, like yeah, that's gonna happen. But hey, admire you for playing it.
I think like Wake played at UNC Greensboro and UNC Greensboro beat them, didn't they? Like last week.
Uh, that that very well might have happened.
I said the other day, like, kind of want to get into college baseball. It just seems sort of hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on, and it's hard to follow just out of the fact that it's hard to follow. Like it's gotten easier, but at the same time, you got to subscribe to at least two or three different streaming things, and
Yeah.
it's very, very unreliable to follow. It's easy to forget because there are so many goddamn games.
Imagine there's like squeeze play every day. That'd be
You
sick.
know, someone should invest in that
That'd be fucking sick.
because that is like, as I love NCAA tournament weekend, and for me, nothing will ever be better than that. But regional weekend in baseball is awesome.
It's fucking sick. God, I post ACL surgery last year, just being drugged up watching some squeeze play for basically 24 out of 36 hours. Fuck was that?
Yeah.
Betting
Well, it
like
never fucking
over,
ends either.
no, betting
At
over
least
like
one West
one and a
Coast game
half
will
in a
go late.
Coastal Carolina game. God, is that shit incredible?
At least one West Coast game will end at like 2 in the morning too. So you're doing it from like 10:30 a.m. to 2 in the morning. It's awesome.
I think I went like 8-0 last year betting Stanford money lines, where like I bet him like first game of or I don't think I bet him first game of regionals, but I like bet against him the next game, then bet on him every elimination game, bet against him game one of supers, then I think bet it on them the next two, and then bet against them both games at Omaha.
Well, we
Incredible.
were riding them last year because we were down on UConn.
That was 2 years ago.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Who did UConn? Ah, whatever. I don't care.
Stanford beat Texas last year in the supers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because we bet UConn.
Well,
'Cause UConn was in Florida's regional last year.
yeah, that's right. We bet UConn when they were in Maryland.
Yeah, when it was like Maryland,
That was
we bet them to win, and it was like 4-1 to win the region. We hit that, and then
was plus 425. I won't forget that.
yeah, it's good shit. The old Ameristar.
Yeah.
All right, well,
All right, but to
sorry.
get back to, the sport we actually try to cover on here. Um, so yeah, that's your matchup. Like you said, it's gonna come down to, it's one of those games where you say like you probably wind up playing Cashaw more than Yates, I guess,
For my team or for his, I guess.
for your team.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure shit out.
Yeah.
Maybe put Wyndham on Ballack for some defense. The
Yeah, I mean, just
long guy.
follow somebody around, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, your game will be won or lost by just how much people think there's an advantage for. I mean, like honestly, I'm gonna pick you because
All right.
Tyshawn over Nemhard and Kalkbrenner over Bishop. Like that's enough for me to make up for any Ballack over whoever.
I mean, yeah, it's Tyshawn would eat Nemhard alive. Nemhard was not a good defender. And Tyshawn's gonna like Tyshawn stays in front of him. Like that lob shit with net like I guess Tyshawn and Bishop ran it, but like the lob shit between Nemhard and Bishop is not happening against Alexander and Kalkbrenner. Like
No,
half of Bishop's points came off those lobs.
Jesus, imagine if Alexander stayed. Well, no, I guess he would have never got prime Kalkbrenner, but imagining the two of those playing together on the same defense is terrifying.
Yeah, that would have been an all-time team. If you could put like prime Kalkbrenner on the 20 team, be a nice team.
Yeah, yeah, that's just ridiculous. Well, speaking of the 20 team, we go over to the Quest region where Chuck Witt has just decided to run that back because his starting lineup
I
is
didn't even notice that. That's kind of funny.
it's just the 1920 team. It's Zagorowski, Tyshawn, Mitch, Damian, and Christian Bishop.
Well, fuck it, I respect that. Well,
Yeah,
unfortunately, as if it is true 20 team, as we get to the end of the season, Zagorowski has a torn meniscus, so I'm picking you.
yeah. Well, um, I might not even pick. I mean, it's close, but I do not. I don't know. I'm going back and forth on this one just because I do think Kalkbrenner makes such a difference.
Yeah, I'm a big Ryan Hawkins fan. I mean, Mintz didn't really do anything at Creighton.
No, he was. I mean, but he's a zero at worst. Like at his best, he added something to the offense. He's a downhill guy. Like he'll run some transition.
Yeah.
Not as much as the other team, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. So for comparison's purpose, my team then is Davion Mintz, Tyshawn, Ryan Hawkins, DJ, and Kalkbrenner, which like good team. I'm proud of it, but
He did
we're at the point
underrated.
now where it's all good teams.
He did pick a fifth bench guy, which is a little bit of a silly move in my opinion.
Yeah, he did, and he didn't have. Did he have to? No, he didn't have to
Well,
because he took
Suarez is
Manny.
zero.
Yeah, which although honestly, it's a good thing he did because or else he would have the same problem that
Yeah,
Mr.
that's fair.
Skull has, which now at least he has a guy who can play 10 minutes for Bishop and not look completely lost.
That's true. And he's a vibes guy, if nothing else.
He's a vibes guy. Yeah, Manny Suarez is the ultimate vibes guy. But yeah, so that's his bench is the all the four negative ones, and then Suarez, who again I'll actually compliment him for putting him on the team to give somebody to spare Bishop because I don't think a lot of people thought about that as deeply as we might have. Um, and I say we like I didn't just refuse to put a Kalkbrenner spare on my bench. I've got Jason Green though. I'm the only one of the final four who threw him in there. I've got him and Christophilus. So between the two of them, you can say there's at least something on the bench, although admittedly I can only use Christophilus's Jay's time, so I might have been better off not including him at all.
Yeah, he can shoot an open three.
Well, he went 1 for 10 in his in his Creighton career.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did tear him down last round and get a little mean, but
Yeah, so I mean, again, it's whether the difference between Bishop and Kalkbrenner is greater than the difference between Zagorowski and Mintz. You can say Hawkins and Mitch are probably somewhat of a wash.
yeah. I it's what Hawkins and say it again. Oh, Hawkins and Mitch. I'd probably take Hawkins.
Yeah, I mean, my team's gonna rebound the shit out of the ball,
Yeah,
so we get a little bit of an edge there.
I don't hit the glass too. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the voters say. I wouldn't be shocked if I lose, just because people are gonna take a look at the fourth spot and get a little weary. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if I think if you break these down rationally, that's the conclusion that you would have to come to is for you is the difference between Tyshawn and Kalk enough to make up somebody chasing around Mitch? And
Mhm.
I'd say yes. And for mine, it's is Kalkbrenner so much better than Bishop that it makes up for Zagorowski being so much better than Davion. And that's tougher. That's a tougher sell.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if I'd kept Green instead, this would be no contest. But at
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true.
least in the perception of
So
people,
no,
who knows how good Green actually is. But
yeah, I think like my margin last round is probably fair. I only won that 58 to 42. That was a team I'm like, yeah, I could have lost to. This
yeah,
round, same thing. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty 50-50. If not, I'd maybe give him a slight edge. And I think so many people are just going to look at that and see the 1920 team and pick it.
yeah. I respect the. I don't know if I should call it creativity or anti-creativity. That's kind of funny to just pick the 19 team.
This is why I kind of like wanted to have the final four on the pie. Like I wanted to ask, like, did you mean to do that or did you just notice you were doing that and stick with it?
Yeah,
Because I know he mentioned it in the tweet, but it wasn't like, yeah, it could have been after the fact you realize it.
good team
I'd
chemistry.
be interested. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear the process behind that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much to add. I'll be interested to see. I still think at the end of the day, um, the fact that he is gonna have like again, for as much as we talk about that I'm gonna be screwed at the one position, A, he's also gonna have to play bad guys for 20 minutes a game, which when I'm playing my bad guys for those 25, like it's essentially I have to play a bad player for what, like 20 minutes longer than he does, I guess. So like for half the game,
Yeah,
he's also gonna have someone bad on the court.
yeah, yeah,
And that also assumes like either all of his guys have to play 40 minutes, which like I don't know, all my guys are, so not really that big a deal. But like if I just attack the mismatch, I think Kalkbrenner on whoever his bad guy is, like because I don't really think Jefferson can guard Kalkbrenner. I think that's too much size.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, the size I have, the top end talent, I think we'll figure it out. My coaching edge. Um, I don't know. I'll take myself, but we'll see what the squad says.
Yeah, and then if I'll make my last pitch for my guys, I'm not picking against a team with Kalkbrenner, but I would probably say the same about Zagorowski. Um, at the end of the day, we're gonna have to play a little chase guys off the line. Maybe you probably even throw, well, it's a question of if you throw Tyshawn on Tyshawn or Tyshawn on Zagorowski. Yeah, it comes down to, again, the difference between whether Zag is so much better than Mintz that Kalkbrenner isn't so much better than Bishop. And I want you to remember how rough the 1920 team was at times on defense, and just know that my team is having absolutely zero of those problems. Because although Davion is not the defender that he thought he was, Tyshawn is absolutely that guy. Hawkins can guard, anyone who's not a tiny combo guard. DJ again, like no problem on the defensive end whatsoever. We're gonna rebound the absolute fuck out of the ball and get it into Kalk and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean his team also isn't that great. Like Bishop's not a great defender. Balak isn't a great defender. Nemhard's not a good defender. McDermott's fine, but I wouldn't say he's like a great defender. Jefferson's a good defender. I don't know. I think we'll be able to get ours.
Yeah, yeah. I think I like you to win in somewhere in the like 60-40 or 62 to 40 or 38 range. I think I will lose, hopefully, within like 5 points or so.
We just want to cover.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, people have very fond memories of Hawkins, but I think they also have very negative memories of Davion, which is totally fair. So
Did you see how
we shall see.
Wake followed up their big Duke win?
How what?
Wake followed up their big Duke win with an immediate
Who did they
loss to
lose to
Notre
tonight?
Dame.
Oh, yep, there you go. There you go. I'm just glad we weren't playing DePaul this weekend.
Yeah, or maybe that's who we needed to play to actually win.
Yeah, all right. I'll say I'm glad we weren't playing. Oh,
Georgetown.
there's not really a good Big East example.
Georgetown maybe could have. Remember how Georgetown almost beat TCU? How did that happen? And should have if the refs didn't blow it.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, actually.
Result.
You never know. Could be that was the turning point in the season. They actually would have won way more games if their confidence didn't get shattered.
Yeah, like Woodson today saying that if the team didn't lose Xavier Johnson, who averages like 3 a game this year, the season would have been different.
Right, right. Glue guy, you know.
Fucking Wisconsin. Fucking pussies.
Yeah, that's not.
Xavier
It's getting to the point
Johnson.
where they're. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Xavier Johnson is sub 100 O ratings. What held him back this year?
Locker room guy.
I think
He's
Wisconsin
still
will
in the
beat
locker
South
room.
Florida in the tournament.
Yeah. They'll probably win the Big Ten tournament now.
Fuck that. I don't want them to. Get out. TJ Otzelberger, Euro, Wisconsin, Badger.
Oh, he's never leaving Iowa State.
Why? Are you joking?
They're no, I'm serious.
Why?
His like they are super tied there. His wife played basketball there. I think she still does some coaching or something like that.
I find Josh Shirt, Euro, Wisconsin, Badger.
Yeah, there you go.
Meg McDermott, Euro, Wisconsin, Badger.
I almost wouldn't hate that.
Just out of spite. I'm angry and now I need other people to be angry too.
Oh, hold on, we've got breaking news. We've got, so
Trey
sources.
Alexander breaks ankle playing with hippity hop out for season.
No, so, so from our, we've got sources holding strong on Greg McDermott.
The extension will happen.
Yep.
Do you see? That might bite me in the ass. I don't give a shit. Surely he'll be able
Yeah.
to let it roll off his back. I like
Famously cool with stuff like that.
the Omaha World Herald guy tweeted like, "Oh, like Greg McDermott saying," and like 10 minutes later, he's like, "Source Greg McDermott saying," such like, "Yeah, I saw the tweet too, head ass."
He must, well, no. He must have seen the Carney tweet from earlier in the week, right? Because that's a source.
Yeah,
That guy must know something. He had it a week ago.
I don't know who the Carney is, but it seems like he's got it in, and he also sounds pretty hot. So
Yeah, I hear he's really cool.
I heard he's a cool guy. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know who it is, but
No.
his Ohio State report today was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like he said, not super surprising, but
No, it is it's a little interesting, a lot of disarray there. His
informative.
I was actually I WhatsApped him earlier, um, and his source said he's like, yeah, I think 20% chance Day is gone before next season or before the season, which I can't see that happening at all. Like that seems absolutely ridiculous to me. But like it's
Yeah.
not no one saying that.
Yeah, I assume it's one of those things where you've got factions in the booster ships when it's this big, and you might have a group of like five or six that are aggressively calling to get him out.
Yeah,
And it's like, well, you never know if they get enough influence, something could happen.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. We'll see what else the king of the carousel can drum up.
Yeah, he's got sources. What can you say?
It's off to a good start. That story he tweeted about Creighton's off season. I found that pretty interesting too.
It's 100% true.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You know,
hasn't given us a
like
reason to doubt him yet, but
I saw like it was one of the like old head burners was asked like, oh, is any of that true? Like, yeah, actually it is.
actually, this theory wouldn't believe it. But yeah, it is
Yeah.
allegedly. I don't know. I guess I can't speak for him. But
I can speak that the people who I've heard the same things from, I absolutely trust.
okay.
And I know some of it I know firsthand, so
Yeah.
I can speak to enough of that to verify some of its legitimacy.
Well, see what else he has in store for search season. Seems like he kind of owns Trilly. So
Yeah, Trilly is about to be 0-2 on the Jays.
yeah, and he fucked me with that Wisconsin commit, saying he was committing, then he went to Purdue. So apparently
Oh
he
yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
set
Yeah, so if you're not following Big East Carousel yet, that's BE Carousel.
me carousel the Carney because runs the carousel, just levels to that.
Yeah, it makes a little bit of sense.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, kind of.
Hypothetically, what should it be then?
I don't know. See, like, again, like
I'll
I
send him
guess
a
this,
message to him.
yeah, I was gonna say like, we know this guy, so we were, brainstorming names with him hypothetically.
Yeah.
And we didn't really come up with anything good, but I suppose that's the best of the bunch.
Oh my God. I'm sweating Texas Tech plus 17 and a half live right now. We cannot get a fucking rebound. So that's what I'm doing with my Tuesday night.
I'm picking my fingernails with a guitar pick, so
I
There's again levels to this.
think that's about all we had.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't go on any longer at this point.
No, I'll be sweating this down the stretch if anyone needs me. It's
You'll
fucking
be sweating. You'll be sweating something else after this podcast.
yeah, shit. Maybe cut that out.
Yeah,
How scared are we of him?
lunatics. You never know. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. How hard is it to take it out?
Uh, I don't know. I've never done it.
I don't care. Leave it. If it's too much work, leave it in.
Yeah,
Or
like I can cut this off the end pretty. I'll see if it's easy. I'll do it.
okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know. Back me up. I have no will. I have no suicide note. I'm not depressed.
He owes no gambling debts.
Oh, no
Let's see. What
gambling
else
money.
can we
Quite the
cover?
opposite, actually. I've been on a fucking heater. Um, yeah, I am not depressed. My car's brakes work. I actually got new brakes like a month ago. Um, I don't do drugs.
No. Yeah.
Um, I've walked on the pedestrian bridge multiple times without any issue.
Do you plan on doing it soon? I can't imagine.
Yeah, shit, that's a good call. I was gonna go for a run this weekend, but maybe not. I don't own a rope. I don't know where a Home Depot is. I
You
think
know, do we got any other bases we got to
legitimately
cover?
don't. I legitimately don't know how to shoot a gun. Like,
No. Yeah.
if you gave it, like, I think you gotta take the safety off. Like, it would take me a minute or two to figure it out.
Probably comes with the safety off. God
Yeah.
bless America.
Shit, yeah. Yeah, so I don't own a gun. Um, yeah, remember this piece at the very least if we can't cut it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was another episode of the pod. Little unhinged, I
Yeah.
think.
There you go.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. We'll see if any of this makes it in. If it does, nobody probably listened to it anyways, so that's fine.
Yeah. What are the odds he's one of our 4 listeners?
Can't imagine. Can't imagine.
He's just given that he blocked us 2 months ago. Actually, here, let's sweat this. There's 12 seconds left. We're down 15. They have the ball, so we just can't have a 3. Are we just gonna take a shot clock violation? I also might have no. Good. All right, we're good. Good
The
fucking
sweet
pull up from
sound of
like
a brick.
5 feet behind the line.
You've had some bad ones this year. A couple of them in one night.
Yeah, that was a bad night. All right. Well, unfortunately, I lost my initial bet, but got it back in blood, so we're all good.
All right. Well, we'll bring this to an end. We've got a winner at the end of the night, a legally placed bet.
Yep. Yeah, you hear that? It's already settled up, by the way. It's already settled up in the state of Iowa. Wait a minute. Okay, I did place this. I got worried for a second. Yeah, a legally placed bet settled. Yeah, no worries there.
Maybe we'll just make the uncut version of this podcast a Patreon
Yeah,
special.
put it on our Patreon. I still want to do a drunk episode one time.
Oh, I'm all the way in for that.
Maybe we can do that after Saturday.
I was gonna say I'll be at Lefties after the game on Saturday, so
Live Dennis in the dock recording, be there.
just whoever else is there too, burner, non-burner, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, we'll have fun.
We'll just stand outside and do it. It'll be warm enough.
Shit, yeah, good call from the bridge.
Yeah,
Back to
yeah.
back.
Well, that's dangerous. We better win that game.
Back to that. Yeah, we'll keeping a lookout.
All right. Well, I'll see about editing this. So you might get all this. Some of this might seem really broken up and you might not understand it, but thanks for listening anyways.
Bye.